You want to know what's crazy? After I went no contact with my mom and basically my
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about millennials and Gen Zs are going no contact with their parents. So I put the videos together so that you watch and learn. I'll be back to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video, guys. So let's get into it.
you want to know what's crazy? After I went no contact with my mom and basically my entire family, I started receiving so many blessings. When I was still in contact with my mother and she was draining my life force, like literally draining my life force out throughout my whole life. And when I finally had enough and gathered some strength from I don't know where to leave that situation, my blessings started pouring in like that. All of my manifestations started coming to me in physical form just like that. And I'm sitting in my mother crib, I'm sitting in my family crib, and it's just like nothing is happening for me. The stagnancy was crazy. The depression was crazy. The anxiety was crazy. And even though I'm sitting here planning my escape, planning all these things, I know there's a way out. I could not execute it while I was there. Like when people say you cannot heal where you was hurt at, that shit is so real. Because I'm the most stubborn person on planet Earth. Nobody can tell me I can't do something somewhere. The fuck? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make the best of this situation. I know it's toxic. I know what I'm facing, but I can still do it while I'm here. No. I literally had to physically leave with nothing but my sanity because I had to tell myself, you know what, when it comes down to it, what's really important? Like, I need to keep my mind. I can't lose my mind. I could lose everything else I have. I don't give a fuck about. But when it comes to my mind, I can't afford to lose my mind. Okay? And even under that, being under all of that spiritual warfare, living under my family roof, I realized I really just had to take a step out and just move by faith, not by sight. Move by my own faith. My own faith. Okay? But as soon as I literally cut these people out of my life, I kid you not, like, I always thought that only bad things could happen to me. Like, since I was little, I expect bad things to happen to me. And it's like throughout this journey, the past 2 years of me just trying to get myself together, get my life together, as soon as I cut off all of these people that wasn't even supposed to be in my life for this long. Are you kidding me? And it's just further confirmation that what I thought and what I was feeling while I was there was true. I was thinking to myself, am I going crazy? Are these people, like, do these people really hate me that bad? Am I crazy? After I left, I realized, no, you're not crazy. These people want to see you do bad. These people have ill intention for you. And that's why you felt like, was my manifestations working? They were, but I needed to be in a different space to receive it, if that makes sense.
I have no contact with my parents, and they think enough is enough. Every couple months, we get a text from them that says enough is enough. We deserve to see our grandkids, and let's sit down and have a discussion so that we can do that. That is so triggering for me, just that term, because my whole life that was used as everything. We'll sit down and have a discussion about this. The fact that you think you can say that to your 32-year-old daughter, that's part of it. But the thing is that these parents don't understand. We communicated everything up until this point. There's lines of communication of how we feel. We don't just go no contact like that. So you can look back on those lines of communication and read it and take it in. You don't have to sit down. I don't have to talk to you in person about it. And these parents refuse to look back on all these times that we talked to them and told them. And they think that we should drop our boundaries to do that again for them. No. You have all the communication. You have texts. Do you guys want me to read you the text? Because I spelled it out very clearly. My feelings, my support needs, my neglect. And they told me it was all 100% wrong. So if you guys want me to read that to you one day, I totally can. And you can tell me how you would respond by being told it was all 100% wrong. And if a few months later, you just should drop your boundary because enough is enough. These parents are blood poisoning, man. Do they feel the apathy that they have? I can't imagine being that apathetic and lacking that much self-awareness.
Listen, I cut my own mother off over a year ago. Not spoken a word to her since. Never plan on speaking to her again. If I walk into a room and she's there, she does not exist to me. So please, please do not doubt my ability to be able to cut you off, because if it's in my best interest, you'll never hear from me again.
I don't care what anyone says. There is nothing more complicated or harder than trying to honor your boundaries and trying to continue to protect yourself while going no contact or while staying no contact with a family member or your entire family. Worst of all, a parent. I could go no contact with dudes for a living. Easy, clean. But a parent, family, and for some reason, it always feels like you're the one that's being punished because you're the one that's missing out on having those people in your life or having that person in your life. You're the one that's missing out on the parts of life that are better if you have family. And it is like the most unfair thing someone could ever go through because it's not your fault. It's not on you. You are in this position because this person or these people have done things that have driven you to a point where you're like, there's nothing else I can do but keep you out of my life. But for some reason, it feels like you getting the worst end of it because life is continuing for them and they enjoy the privilege of forgetting, or they enjoy the privilege of having to be reminded of why they're in that position while you are burdened with having to forget. You burdened with having to wake up every day and beg your brain to forget. And I've been there and I know it's tough, but if you are currently in that position and you come across this video, I hope you take it as a sign to keep going. My heart goes out to you. It is the worst thing in the world, but it is also the right thing. It's the best thing for you. It may not feel like it at times, but it's the best thing for you to do. And I hope you keep protecting yourself because no one else will.
I have decided to go no contact with my biological parents, and here's why. If you're new here, hi, my name is Esther. I'm originally from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Life-threatening scoliosis brought me to the United States, and I got adopted by a white family. I actually get this question a lot. I am no contact with my biological parents. I would like to start off by saying if you do decide to go no contact with your biological parents, any family member for traumatic reasons or just reasons in general, it is 100% okay to no longer talk to people if they do not, their hopes and dreams do not align with yours, or they have treated you badly in the past and you have trauma from them. So in my case, I went no contact with my parents in 2015, I think, because they were just asking for too much, and they also started like harassing me, harassing my family, harassing my sister. I went no contact with my biological sisters as well. They recently have been harassing my husband, even though they don't know my husband, they've never met my husband. My adopted parents, Philip and Lisa, did raise money for my biological parents when the earthquake happened because they lost their house during that time. So my dad went back and rebuilt the house for them. And like I said, it was just never enough. They contacted me every holiday, every birthday, just blowing up my phone, and I ended up blocking them on all social media platforms, and because of that, that honestly kind of made it worse because now they're just contacting my friends or anyone that's remotely.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my 2 cents, like what I think about today's video. why millennials and Gen Zs are going no contact with their parents. So there's a growing trend that no one really talked about, okay, a decade ago, but it's becoming a loud and louder in recent years. More millennials and Gen Zs are going no contact with their parents, and not because they don't love them, not because they're ungrateful or rebellious, but because for the first time in a long time, people are starting to recognize the impact that emotionally immature, toxic, or even just unaware parents can have on a person's mental health and quality of life. These young generations are finally saying, I deserve peace, I deserve boundaries. And that's a radical shift from how previous generation operated. The thing is, millennials and Gen Zs grew up in a world that was rapidly changing. We had front rows set to mental health becoming a topic, trauma being unpacked, therapy being normalized, and with awareness came this painful realization for many of us. A lot of the pain we carry, the anxiety we feel, the guilt we constantly wrestle with, it started at home. It came from parents who might have loved us but didn't know how to love us in a way that was healthy. Parents who use fear instead of communication, control instead of trust, silence instead of affection. So now we are asking, why am I supposed to keep a connection just because of blood? If that connection keeps wounding me, it's not right. We're also dealing with the fact that many parents never allowed their children to be their fully selves. They wanted obedience, not individuality. They praised complacency, not curiosity. And now, as adults, millennials and Gen Zs are tired of shrinking themselves. We are tired of attending family gatherings where we are constantly criticized, where our boundaries are disrespected, where we leave feelings drained and judged. We want spaces where we feel seen and safe. And sometimes that space cannot include our parents. That's good. The go no contact movement is not about punishment, it's about survival. It's about choosing emotional safety over tradition. A lot of us we have tried explaining how the words hurt, how their behaviors made us feel, how all we want to is apology, some growth, some accountability. But instead, we get gaslighting. We get you're too sensitive. We get you're disrespecting me. And after enough of those conversations, we start to realize it's not going to change. They're not going to change. And that's when the decision happens. Not because we hate them, but because loving ourselves has to come first every time. You also have to remember Gen Zs and millennials grew up in households where a lot of emotional labor was expected, but rarely acknowledged. Many of us became emotional parents to our parents. We comforted them. We kept family secrets. We learned to keep the peace, to walk on eggshells, to abandon our own needs, to maintain harmony. So we grew up and finally realized that shaped us, how it made us anxious, people pleasing, disconnected from our own identity. It's devastating. And going out contact becomes a way of reclaiming our voice. There is also a generational disconnect that can't be ignored. Many of our parents grew up in environments where trauma wasn't named at all, where discipline was normalized, even when it was abusive, where emotional needs were dismissed. So to them, they think they did better than what they had. And maybe they did, but better is not always enough. Just because they didn't hit you doesn't mean they didn't hurt you. Just because they feed you and clothe you doesn't mean they nurtured your spirit. And millennials and Gen Zs are finally saying, we are not going to downplay the damage just because you did your best. Social media plays a role in this too. We now live in a time where people openly share their stories about narcissistic mothers, absent fathers, families that shamed them for who they are. And in the digital mirror, we start to see ourselves. We start to feel validated. And most importantly, we realize we are not alone. That community gives people the courage to say, I don't have to keep pretending everything is fine. And that's powerful because for so long, silence was the rule. You don't talk bad about your parents, you don't air family business. But now we are breaking the silence. And with it, we are breaking generational cycles. But let's be honest, going no contact is not easy. It's heartbreaking. You grieve people who are still alive. You grieve the vision of them you always wished existed. And sometimes you sit with a painful guilt that you're letting them down. but that grief is also a sign of growth. It means you're finally choosing yourself over people. You're learning that boundaries are not betrayal, they are love in action. And even though other generations may not understand it, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're healing in a way they never had a chance to. At the end of the day, this is not about blaming our parents for everything. It's about taking accountability for the life we want to build moving forward. We can acknowledge the good thing they did and still set boundaries. We can be grateful for their sacrifices and still choose first. And maybe just because this happens, we create room for growth both sides. But if it doesn't, we owe it to ourselves to find peace, because healing is not about staying in places that hate you just because they're familiar. It's about finding the courage to live even when it's the hardest thing you ever did. So, I heard a lot of stories where people go no contact with their parents. So for me, I don't blame them. If someone tells me I've been no contact with my parents for 10 years, for 2 years, for 1 year, I do understand them, because for someone to reach that extent, like I'm not going to talk to my mother, there is something big which is really happening, and I feel like that person felt like, okay, we'll be at peace when me I'm having my own space and I'm okay not talking to the same person, because you can't keep talking to someone who just drains you every time. Okay, this goes to all family members. If your family is toxic, please move away. You need to find your own peace. You need to be your own person, because some people, they're not good to be around you, and things are not moving because you're just being in a circle where people, they don't wish you well. So I came across videos where women say they were born to someone who is there, who is trying to compete with them. Your own mother is jealous of how beautiful you are. She gave birth to you, but she's jealous how beautiful you are. Like if something happens to you, you have a good job, maybe you get an interview, you just try to tell her, she'll just put silly comment, even if you're looking beautiful. She'll just make silly comment just to make you feel down, to make your own mother trying to make you have low self-esteem. Okay. So it's very understandable. Gen Zs, we are not keeping quiet. Should do as bad things, we are coming out and say it. Okay, a long time, if a father is say their child, it used to be around the family. Wouldn't speak it out. But Gen Zs are not keeping quiet. If you do something, we are going to report you to the police. We need to get our justice, because how come your own father will want to sleep with that child? Okay, and it's not okay, it's not right. So people now are waking up, they're making the world like know that this is not right, this is happening, people are just hiding. And because we are born in a world where we want change, we want things to, if in a family we need to be, things need just to be balanced. It shouldn't be only in one sided every time. It's not okay, and we can't allow that to happen. So another thing is that women were going no contact with their mother because of the mother's behaviors. They want to be too controlling. Not in a, yes, you can be controlling me, you're my mother, but it should be come from a good place of heart. Okay, so if you're just doing things just to benefit you, or you're just doing things just to hurt my feelings, to make me look like I'm a bad person in front of the whole family, like, it's better we just go no contact, so that I do my own life, I do me, which I feel like it's okay. And we are not blaming the Gen Zs for doing this, because it's right. Everyone has their own rights and everyone has their own boundaries. If you cross them, then we are not going to agree. As much as you gave birth to me, you have also, I have my life to live. Okay. So yeah. So that's a video for today, guys. I don't know what you think. Have you gone no contact with your parents? What was the whole issue? Let's write in the comment section so that we know and discuss and encourage each other. Like, if you ever in your life had no contact, or maybe you're planning to go no contact with your parents. So yeah, that's a video for today, guys. I'll see you in my next videos. Bye bye.